could be a coincidence, could be convenient.
Mm-hmm. I think all of that is very fishy to me, actually. Mostly the thing that is weird to me is all the tunnels underneath the ground.
Welcome to Girl vs. Girl podcast. I'm Melissa.
I'm Kylie. Today we are going to do conspiracy theories we low-key believe, so don't come for us. Don't come for any facts. This isn't a fact-checking show, okay?
Yeah,
we
were literally just saying, if you wholeheartedly are coming to us for legitimate information and fact,
you're
and
dumber than us.
Believing, what we say, you're dumber than we are.
Yeah. So low-key,
keyword.
Yeah.
Our husbands already roasted us.
We don't actually truly believe this.
You want to know what it is?
We kind of do, but
a conspiracy theory that we.
You good?
Yeah. Say it 3 times. Conspiracy theory.
Got it.
Conspiracy theory that we saw and we went, okay.
You could convince me. Yeah.
You could make an argument for that. Okay. Yeah. And then we did about 3 minutes of research on each.
Yep.
So it's all for fun.
I wish that I would have had more time to research it because I could get into this kind of thing. But we decided that we were going to do this episode like 2 days ago.
Yesterday.
Yesterday? Okay.
Yeah.
And then, if you have babies, then, you can't just sit down for hours and hours and hours researching this.
I went in on one of them, and I felt so confident about it, and I told Jake about it, and...
He's like, you cannot say that.
He's like, you cannot say that.
That's like me yesterday.
I'm like, you sound like an idiot. I was like, okay.
Yesterday,
good point.
Or was it this morning? I was like, you cannot say that one. It's like, we can say that to each other. We cannot say that on the internet. Or guys, you can say that on the internet, not on something that I am a part of.
Listen.
Don't say it.
I'm not.
Okay.
I won't.
We'll get canceled.
I promise. All I'm saying is, if you guys think I'm out of pocket, you don't even see all the behind the scenes
what we
stuff
actually talk about.
That Kylie keeps me in check. And she'll say, you can't say that. No, Melissa, don't do that. And I'm like, why not? And she's like, we'll actually get a defamation case. Please don't.
Okay.
She reels me in a little bit.
Literally. We'll say some pretty crazy stuff. Not
some of the things we're just going to keep between each other.
Yeah.
Taking to our graves.
Do you have any life updates? What's been going on?
I actually don't think I have. This week was so uneventful. Oh, actually, yesterday we had family come into town.
Yeah.
That we haven't seen since I was
for a year, probably.
Yeah, probably, because I was 2 months pregnant when we went to go see them. It's from a town that Jake and I used to live.
Yeah. Where
we went to college. And so it's my mom's cousin.
How long were they here for?
Just a day. But just a couple hours.
A couple hours, yeah.
Yeah, they got here at noon, and their flight was at 4:30 or something like that to LA.
Nice.
So they were like, we need to get to the airport at 2, and I was like, it'll take about 14 seconds to go through security.
Yeah.
Even with kids.
I'm the person that gets to the airport extremely early. And you know what? If you're not flying out of Medford, you need to get there really early. But out of Medford, it's
I didn't know that we were name dropping where we lived.
Oh. Don't come for us.
Don't come kidnap us.
Well, whatever.
You don't want to kidnap us.
No.
You'll return us.
All 67 of our viewers.
That are, half of them are our high school friends.
3/4 of them are family and friends. Yeah. Pretty sure that Chris and Jake actually just set it to play and just play it on repeat all day. Look, you guys got so many views.
No, Jake's coworkers have started listening to it, and these are
full-grown men.
Full-grown men, dudes.
Corporate men.
Yeah, one of them's a big bodybuilder type guy, and they've been listening, and I'm like,
it's for the girlies only.
Yeah, this is for the girlies, okay? They're probably cringing so hard.
Literally.
And I asked Jake, I go, I wonder which voice they think is mine. And he's like, I think they're watching the video. And I was like, oh, well, that takes the fun out of it.
Any other life updates? You got nothing?
For any of you?
What's up, Stitch? I hate when that happens.
Where did it come from? It's hot chocolate guy. like stuck in my throat. Anyways, that didn't just happen. I don't remember what I was gonna say. Oh, for any of you that actually give a crap, my kid's sleeping through the night now.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you, not last night, but the night before. Literally slept from 7:30 to 5:30.
Nice.
Did not budge. And then I
Good.
fed him back to sleep so he could sleep till, he has to sleep till at least 6.
Nice. So, yeah, extra just a little.
Yeah.
But nice. That's
I'm a
great.
whole new woman.
Yeah.
I can actually function.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's actually weird. I feel like when I wake up in the morning, I'm like so groggy. I'm like
more tired.
That's
almost.
what 8 hours of sleep feels like.
Yeah. I thought that a couple of weeks ago. I was like, I feel like I'm almost more tired when
like
I
you
sleep
too
good.
much.
And it's because if you're up a bunch of times, it's like you're already kind of awake.
Yeah.
But if you sleep for a long time, then yeah, you feel.
I feel like
more
getting
groggy.
up at.
You feel
like,
better once the day's going.
Yeah.
It's just like the first
You have
30
more
minutes,
energy,
you're
yeah.
like really dragging.
On a good night, he'll like, or no, on a bad night, he'll wake up like once. And it's normally like, they tell you I cut out the like 1 a.m. feeding or whatever. He
Yeah.
slept through one of them and I was like,
Yeah.
good enough for me. And kind of cut it out. So on a bad night, he'll wake up at like between 4 and 5. And I'll just go give him a feeding and he'll go back to sleep till 6 or 6:30. But that's almost harder than waking up every hour.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
Well, yeah.
where even am I?
Yeah, not actually, but yeah, it feels like that
it feels
kind
like
of.
it.
Yeah, that's about
In the moment.
That's about where Coast is at with sleep. Also, he'll wake up
God.
like right around like 5ish usually, and usually he'll wake up like one time in the middle of the night at like 2 or whatever, but he wakes up, rolls
Puts
around
himself
for
back.
a couple seconds, and then like goes back
Yeah.
to sleep. But the monitor will come on and I'll check it or whatever.
That's kind of like he's been learning how to do that. Did I tell you I finally learned how to lay him down on his stomach?
No, that's good though.
And I don't know what it is. He just started sleeping harder. And honestly, I figured out how to lay him down on his side, like successfully. And he's so asleep that I just kind of,
Plop him over.
I just kind of like give him a little shove.
Nice.
And
yeah.
he just figures it out.
Yeah. Yeah, they're kind of at the point where even if they like half wake up, it's kind of like they're good enough at putting themselves back to sleep. That,
Yeah, you're not so like,
Yeah.
I just kind
while
of
you're
plop
doing
him
it.
in there and I just walk out of the room. But before I was like, if my toe
Yeah.
like pops, it's all over.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely getting easier.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything else?
Honestly, not really. I had a big week last week. This week was very uneventful
Yeah.
and I needed that.
Yeah. Last week we had not recorded in 2 weeks too, so we had more to say.
Yeah, that's true.
This week we're not as.
Because I did the hair thing, the car thing. Oh, actually, do you want to tell them that I'm going to TikTok famous again and what for? I'm surprised you haven't outed me already.
I forgot. Her feet.
So embarrassing. I literally thought, this is such a sentimental video, and so I just made it like a funny one.
I thought it the second I saw it. I'm like, this could be problematic.
No, people were doing the like to the Benson Boone's new song where he's like, for a while there it was rough, but lately I've been doing better. And it's like a slide over of like them in like the newborn like rough phase, and then like with their baby now. And I was like, let me do it of my preeclampsia swollen cankles at 36 weeks versus my ankles now. And I have a horrible tan job on my feet. Like it was a total joke.
I kind of thought that.
200,000 views. I go,
It has
Perfect.
200,000 now.
I don't even. Should I look? Honestly, of all the ones, had to be my freaking feet, and I thought I was just being funny.
200,000. I haven't seen it since. It had...
348.
Really?
348,000 people have seen my nasty cankles, and better yet, then also my horribly tanned skinny feet.
Okay, but your skinny feet make you look like you probably weigh about 95 pounds, so that's a sleigh.
Ugh, wish I weighed 95 pounds. I told Jake, can't I'm done breastfeeding, I can start starving myself again.
That's problematic.
Okay, not actually, but...
Okay, that's insane. I saw it when it had like 40,000 or something, and then I thought...
Didn't you text me? You're like, really, for the feet now?
Yeah.
Something stupid.
But I still only thought it was only like 40,000, which is still a lot, but not...
Yeah.
That's different
Jake
than
goes,
500,000 or whatever.
Sounds like there's some money to be made there.
Yeah, literally.
Okay, what's your life updates?
Okay. Well, the sleep thing leads me into my story that I have not told Melissa.
Surprise for me.
I'm really working it up. It's actually not that crazy of a thing, but I feel like you'll have a funny reaction to it.
Okay.
So, like we were talking about sleep. Coast usually will sleep, like I said, like till about 5:30, 6. It depends on the day, but somewhere around then. And then I'll go in and I'll feed him. Goes to sleep for us until about 7.
I don't know how he sleeps that late and does 2 naps and still has the same bedtime as Booker.
Yeah, like 7:30 bedtime.
I don't know how you do it.
We start getting him ready for bed at 7.
Does he take short naps?
His second nap is kind of short, yeah. But his first nap is really long.
Weird.
Yeah. Anyways,
we need to talk about that more because I've been meaning to ask you.
He usually wakes up at 5-ish, between 5 and 6. I go in, I feed him back to sleep, goes back to sleep for another 45 minutes to hour and a half, depending on what time it is. Like I said, a lot of the times in the middle of the night, he'll wake up at like 2, 3, 4, whatever, roll around for a minute or so, maybe fuss a little bit, not really cry, but maybe fuss a little bit for 5 minutes, go back to sleep. And it's been a little bit now, but we just are like, this is so besides the point, but you know how I am.
Story of our lives.
I was having to go in and feed him multiple times during the night, and it's been a little bit since I did that, but I still feel like I just was doing that. So I will pretty much only go in if it's after 5 a.m. Otherwise, I'm not going in. Like,
and that's like your Hail Mary, please sleep longer.
Yeah. I mean, it's a Hail Mary, please sleep longer thing, but it's also like I do that every day.
Yeah.
But I usually really don't go in before 5, and if he really needs it, I will. But otherwise, he's gonna figure it out himself, and usually does in 5 minutes. Anyways, okay, monitor turns on last night at about 4. I think it was exactly 4 a.m. actually.
Does it only turn on if he moves?
No, if he makes noise. It doesn't turn on if he moves. It only turns on if he makes noise.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
It pops on. I look at it. He's doing his normal thing. He's on his stomach, kind of fussing, rolling over, whatever. So I roll back over, and I do, like, I'm half asleep. I'm also watching the monitor, but I'm trying to stay, like, you know, I'm not trying to fully wake myself up. You know what I mean? Because he's going to put himself back to sleep. He does this all the time.
You're just
where he
kind of, like,
wakes up
keeping
at
an
4.
ear on it.
Yeah. I think I'm, like, even facing the monitor, but I have, like, my blanket kind of, like, shielding it so I can, like, move it a half an inch and see. Anyways. So I kind of, like, go back into, like, a really light sleep, and I can, like, still hear him a few minutes later. So I look at the monitor again, and what do I see on the monitor? I was thinking I'm going to look over. He's just rolling around a little bit.
This is going because of what he's been doing lately.
Oh, no, you already know. Yeah, what do I look at the monitor to see at 4:07 a.m.? Just him fully standing up in the crib, facing the camera. I didn't get a picture of it, but he's, like, looking at the camera. Like, he's got glowing eyes.
That is so creepy.
I literally
eyes look so creepy in the, like, camera in the night view.
So Chris is, like, sleeping next to me. He's in a light sleep, but a deeper sleep than what I am in at this point, because he's been able to hear the monitor or whatever, but he's not watching it like I am quite as much. And I look at him, I'm like, oh my gosh, Chris, look at this. Chris, look. I'm like, look at what he's doing. And he's just standing up. So then I was like, what do I do? Like, he's
so awake.
He's wide awake, right? I'm like, what do I do? So I'm like,
he's not practicing his new skill.
I'm like, he's not gonna go back to sleep. So I go in there and nurse him, just like I normally do at 5, but
Did you
at
just
4.
Move your crib down?
No, we need to move our crib down today. I don't think he could actually fall out of this, but it should be moved down, yeah. What was I saying?
You went in, you fed him.
Went in, fed him, put him back to sleep. Then he woke up at like 6:40, which is why I don't go in at before 5, because I know then he's going to wake up before 7, but whatever. At 6:40, I wake up and I look at the monitor, and he's just sitting in the middle of his crib, sitting up like this, just in the middle of his crib looking around. He can pull himself up on stuff, no problem.
He's like a super baby.
Yeah, no problem. He's been doing that for like a while. I don't know why I wasn't expecting this.
Just sitting in his crib.
He's never even sat up in his crib, much less stood up. He's never done that before. I'm like,
new skill unlocked. Can't wait to practice it at 2 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you just come out of one sleep regression, you had it right back into a new skill.
I know. Everyone that I've asked is like, you just have to do what you normally do and just let him put himself back down, and
which sucks.
Whatever.
He's so much more awake.
I know. But when I went in and fed him at 4, he passed out immediately. I went in at 4.
He maybe could have.
Yeah. I went in at 4 and I was thinking like, here we go. I'm going to have a hard time getting him to go back to sleep. But he didn't. He fell right back asleep. So.
Oh.
But
That would terrify me to see that.
Chris said he's like, we're gonna have to do some practicing in there of like him dropping back down.
Yeah,
so he's not like
how to get back
smashing
down.
his face into it or something.
Oh.
Which I don't think he will, because he's stood up in his crib before, like if we're just having him in there. Yeah. Anyways,
that's insane.
it's not actually that crazy, but you should have like seen the shot. I was like,
at 4 a.m, pretty crazy.
I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, is everything good? And you know how you can like zoom in? Obviously it wasn't zoomed in, but you know how you can like zoom in on your thing?
Yeah.
Usually when he's sleeping, I'll like have it zoomed in to where it's like just his
breathing.
body. Yeah, and you can see him breathing or whatever. So I'm like used to the single view, and I'm like half awake looking at this, and I'm like not even sure like what I'm looking at. I'm like, what is going on? Like, what is this camera angle? And then I'm like, oh, he's standing.
Took you a second.
Anyways, it's not really a life update, but just something that's just how my day started. And I was like,
that's a new life update.
I was like, what is going on? And I'm trying to think anything else. We're working on our backyard. Mm-hmm. I have a little garden going. Well, I don't have a garden going. We're getting a garden going.
Yeah, I was like, you have a little.
I know. I did like some little seed starters, and I have a little sprout. I'm a proud plant mom. I'm doing it. But there's not any real like exciting updates on that or anything. But
it's getting there.
That's what we've been up to. Yeah. Should we get into it, or do you have anything else?
My child's just choking.
Just coughing.
He chokes on his spit, like,
yeah,
so much. Okay. I think I'm good if you're ready to get into it.
Okay, you're gonna go first, and then we'll go back and forth.
Sure.
Okay.
Should I switch my first one and my second one, or should I just?
Whatever.
Doesn't matter. I feel like my first one's not that deep.
Then start with that one, yeah. Okay. Or
no, my second one's not that deep.
Okay, then start with the one that's deeper.
Okay. Start with the one that's deeper?
Yeah.
Just head right into it.
Yeah.
Okay. These are conspiracy theories that we low-key believe. It's not like I'm going to die on this hill. If someone debunks one fact that I say, I'll go, okay.
Yeah.
I don't care.
We're not being serious.
Yeah, my mind's not made up one way or the other.
It's just for fun.
However, I do kind of believe this one. That Elvis Presley, who I'm a huge fan of, faked his death.
There's a lot of those kind of things with celebrities.
Yes, there's Michael Jackson, there's Tupac, whatever.
Yeah.
I've seen the like photoshopped video of Michael Jackson his body being taken to the emergency room and him crawling out the back of the ambulance or whatever. But this one has been around for a very long time. And it's like a thing that like I feel like everybody's like, yeah, he like maybe he's not still alive today, but he did not die in 1977. Like that is like,
yeah,
a lot of people can agree on that.
Give us the rundown.
Okay, here's the rundown. The reason that I'm gonna get into like two different things to end it, but these are the reasons why people think that he faked his death when he did.
Okay.
Like when he died. Many people believe he faked his death because he was a target of the mafia.
Okay.
So let's remember he died in 1977, allegedly.
Okay.
That's a whole different world. Mafia was very much relevant. Uh-huh. Yeah, happening big. He's always had like an extreme interest in like crime and FBI. He's always gone and like done tours of like police stations and worked with police. Like he's always kind of like
been in that world.
Yeah, like that's an easily Googleable fact about him. Like he likes the FBI or whatever. And he always, like, talks so highly about them. Like, I respect them so much, whatever. In 1968, almost 10 years before he allegedly died, he was made an honorary sheriff's deputy in Shelby County in Tennessee. Which is not something that the DEA just hands out. Like, that was, like, a very, like, serious thing because they don't just, like, do that.
Okay.
And it's like he's not a cop, obviously, but there are case files that he went through the screening that cops go through, and he took his firearms test. Why would he do that if he just was getting this like cool honor because he's Elvis Presley? Mm-hmm. So that's a little suspicious. And then there's evidence in case files that he participated in a drug stakeout as a deputy, like an honorary deputy, like they made him. And there, in these case files, there's proof that he like helped bust like drug trafficking in like the music and entertainment industry. And these are like These are like more or less, like as I go on, they get less factual, more like alleged.
Yeah.
But up until now, these are all facts.
Okay.
Like legitimately happened. This is where it kind of gets like allegedly. Allegedly, he helped the police uncover a case involving illegal trading of airplanes to celebrities, which was tied to organized crime, the mafia.
Okay.
So basically, the mafia was selling private planes to celebrities for cheap rates in order to like traffic their drugs.
Okay.
And so he was like trying to help like bust little stuff. Like obviously Elvis is known for being like a druggie. That's kind of another alleged thing that like he didn't actually do drugs like people think he did. It was more the people around him. But it was easy enough to paint him as a druggie and just tarnish his name and say that's why he died.
Okay.
And use that as like the cover of why he died. Anyway.
Wait, that's why they say he died?
Yes.
So like a drug overdose?
Allegedly he had a drug overdose and he died on his toilet at Graceland.
Okay.
And then I'm pretty sure this is a fact, but don't quote me. Elvis gave a written testimony that led to a series of indictments issued to, you know, these people. Do you know what that means?
No, I'm having a hard time following.
Okay. So an indictment is like if you're being indicted, it means that like the police are officially notifying you that you are being investigated for a crime.
Okay.
And you are going to be called to be investigated. You can't travel. You can't go anywhere. Basically, like they're about to arrest you.
But they haven't.
They don't have a warrant yet. Yeah. So he did give a testimony, like written testimony, that led to a series of indictments issued. Like they issued those indictments notifying that those people would be investigated or whatever.
Like mafia people.
Yeah, okay. Mafia people. Which was a big sting that they were working on anyway. The day before he died. A little suspicious for me. Obviously that was in the works for a while. But the fact that those were officially notified the day before he died.
Right.
And to die on the toilet of a heart failure due to a drug overdose, I feel like that's fishy to me.
So are you going to get into facts of like how he faked his death or what?
Yeah. Okay. So basically when all this was happening,
of how it happened?
Yeah. When all this was happening, him and his family were receiving death threats, like anonymous death threats.
From the mafia.
Allegedly. Yeah, okay. Yes, that's what he thought. And so the conspiracy theory is that he was an honorary deputy, but he was really like trying to actually help them and like bust people in the celebrity and entertainment business, which led to them finding out that a lot of celebrities were doing dealings with the mafia via like selling luxury airplanes and stuff. And the theory is he got caught as a mole, basically, started receiving death threats, the indictments were issued, and he went into witness protection program.
And they faked his death.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because if you look up like the death, I don't have like a bunch of details on his death, but because I just felt like it wasn't really like that relevant. But the way he died was just kind of like a lot of coroners have been like, his blood would have settled differently. Like the stuff like that just like was didn't add up. But also it was an autopsy in 1977. Like it's not going to be as good as now. Right. So people are looking at it now. It's like,
and
okay,
it was autopsied, so something was autopsied.
Because his dad insisted on an autopsy because his dad thought it was suspicious. Because he said that his dad said, you know, my son had done drugs before, but he was on the right path. Mm-hmm. And so everyone kind of was like, well, it was just easy to label it as a drug overdose, basically, like heart failure due to drug overdose.
Well, what if he didn't fake his death, but that he did die, but not from a drug overdose?
Yeah,
because that would be another option, right?
Right.
Like
it just seemed the way he died and the facts around like what he died from and like how he died physically, like sitting on the toilet,
just don't make sense.
Doesn't add up. Because also a lot of people were saying, like cops were saying, he would have fallen off, but he was found on the toilet. And it's like, it was almost felt like he was propped up.
Right. That's like, kind of what I thought. Like he was found on the toilet or he was found like next to the toilet. Like he died
either way, whether he's alive or not, or obviously he's probably not alive now, but whether he died at 1977 or not, it was fishy.
The whole thing is weird. Yeah.
So anyway, the theory is that he went into witness protection. So at his funeral, everyone said, well, there's an open casket or whatever. But it was a distance viewing. And the theory is that they use a chilled wax figure. Because there were reports that the body was sweating. Which a corpse doesn't sweat. But if they did an experiment that they chilled a candle and then brought it out at room temperature and it started beating.
Yeah, it would have like condensation or something.
So there was that. And then there was an issue of like an unclaimed life insurance. Like it was a big issue with like Lisa Marie and his daughter and like Priscilla and all that. There was like an unclaimed life insurance for like years.
Interesting. Yeah, that's weird. No matter what, that's weird.
The other thing that kind of like was proof.
There's also like lots of Elvis impersonators.
Yeah.
Like even if it wasn't wax.
Because
like,
that's why everyone
hired someone.
Yeah, everyone keeps saying, oh, there's so many sightings. It's like a lot of people were obsessed with him. I'm sure that you have so many lookalikes, whatever.
Yeah.
Another thing is that on his his gravestone or whatever, it's like I have a picture of it, but it's like a big laid out gravestone. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know what it looks like? Let me pull up a picture. They spelled his middle name wrong. His middle name is Aaron, and it's Aron. But the last couple years of his life, he was spelling it how Aaron's normally spelled, Aaron. And that's how it's spelled on his, oh, there it is. That's how it's spelled on his grave. And everyone was speculating that's not his birth middle name. Like, that's not how it was spelled on his birth certificate. So why would he just started going by that? Because he felt it was like spelled correctly or spelled incorrectly or, whatever it was. Why would they put that on his grave if that's just what he was going by and not legally how his middle name was spelled?
Except for that seems kind of like a little bit irrelevant because like why would they put it on there?
Well, everyone's thinking because it's a bad omen because it's not really him. He's not really in the grave.
Okay.
So this is what his like grave looks like.
Oh,
And so his middle name is spelt wrong. And everyone's like, that's weird. Okay. They said it would be like taboo or whatever. Okay. So on Elvis's final performance.
Oh, you went in.
I am a big Elvis fan. Okay. So this one is like, okay, I'll like go fast, but.
No, you're fine.
But... Elvis's final performance was on June 26, 1977. So like 2 months before he died.
Okay.
He said this really strange, long-winded goodbye during his performance. He thanked close people in his life that he like hadn't been a part of his life for years and years, like from the beginning of his career. He thanked like family members, like I guess he always would kind of say something about his mom, but like he would say something about his cousins, like that kind of stuff that he wouldn't normally do. And he apologized to his fans, saying that he hopes that they, quote, meet again one day. Suspicious.
That is weird.
And everyone keeps saying, oh, well, it's because he knew that was going to be his final performance. Maybe, but also he was receiving death threats from the mafia.
Right.
And then he died later that summer in August 16th, 1977 at age 42.
Interesting.
So the other two conspiracies that go along with this is that there are two people who the majority of like fans and citizens, whatever, wholeheartedly believe could be Elvis. One of them is Bob Joyce, and he is a preacher from Benton, Arkansas, which Elvis was a very religious person, so that is like, okay, maybe. His vocals, if you listen to him like lead worship, sounds like Elvis.
Okay.
Like uncanny.
Okay.
And
does he look like Elvis or no?
Yeah. He looks like him. Okay. I should pull up a picture. He looks like him. And also, he would be the right age. If Elvis died at 42, this man would be like the same age. Also, there's not been a photo of this man until 20 years after Elvis died. It was the first on-record photo of this man. Looks like how Elvis would look 20 years later at 60. Tell me that doesn't look like him. Right?
It doesn't even like... The hair, the style looks like him. I feel like the face doesn't majorly look like him. That's just very stylized.
Yeah, I feel like I should.
I feel like if that was Elvis...
I'll save this picture.
He
would stitch it.
He would...
disguise himself a little bit better? I don't know. It's been 20 years.
I mean, that's
I don't know. So here's the attributes. His vocals are very similar. Physical resemblance. His face structure. He has almost identical mannerisms. And almost the same kind of sway when he sings. but it's like he's like trying to hold back, is what people have said from his congregation. He has the same scar on his hand, on the top of his hand, that Elvis got from a crazed fan in like a fan like crowd frenzy. And he has the same tooth gap that Elvis had when he was young before he got his tooth capped.
Okay.
There's no photos of him until 20 years after Elvis's death. He was allegedly spotted at Elvis's, he took a picture with Elvis, like one of his first girlfriends.
He took a picture with one of Elvis's?
Yeah. So it could have been like, oh, people think you're Elvis.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
We're in
like
the
funny.
same situation. Whatever. He was also allegedly spotted at Graceland on Christmas night and at Lisa Marie's private funeral. Elvis's daughter.
But that's alleged?
Allegedly.
So there's no facts. Obviously, there's no facts.
I haven't seen any pictures, but it gets crazier. That I'm like, oh, that's probably just a coincidence.
Yeah.
This one, I'm convinced. Jesse Guerin. Okay? That name doesn't mean anything to you because you don't know a lot about Elvis. Elvis had a twin brother who was stillborn. Guess what his name was?
Oh, no.
Jesse Guerin Presley.
And this guy's name is what?
Jesse Guerin.
Huh.
Guerin is Garon on Elvis's brother. This guy's last name is spelled Guerin.
Okay.
Suspicious, right? It's almost as if you were going to go under a witness, you'd change your name. Why not to your twin brother?
Yeah.
So this guy is in a mental institution.
Okay.
Which you're thinking, okay, he's just crazy. Thought so too.
Well, yeah, okay.
So his doctor, Dr. Hinton, was like having sessions with his like therapist or whatever. And the therapist is like, look, this Jesse dude, like, he thinks he's Elvis. Like, he is telling me, like, but I am actually Elvis. Like, I am him. Like, that's my name, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And it went on for so many years that the Dr. Hinton told the therapist, maybe we should just get a DNA test just to, like, put it at rest, you know, make him feel better. Like, just trying to make their patient feel better. They ran DNA tests. His DNA perfectly matched Elvis's DNA.
Is that possible if they're not the same person? Like, is there any way that can, like...
The only way that you could have matching DNA is if you were the person.
Or the twin?
The twin. Or you'd have to have, like... Elvis's dad would have had to have a kid with someone else. And they may match his DNA.
Okay.
Like, half siblings.
Yeah.
But this DNA also matched Elvis's mom and his dad. Had similar.
Okay.
Yeah. So they like.
Do you have a picture of this guy?
Yes, he does kind of look like him. And so then the other thing was that his twin brother had the same name. So let me look up this guy.
The thing about it is like it's so believable, but then it's also like, but why would he use like his twin's name? Like, seems like a rookie mistake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or why would he like? I don't know. You know what I mean?
I know. It's almost like, why can't I find a picture of him?
Or
now?
the last guy, the preacher guy. It's like, why would he like have his hair styled like Elvis Presley? Like, wouldn't you like do a little more? But also, there's like things like, well, there's tons of like reconstructive surgery or like whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
I'm thinking it wouldn't be actually that hard to fake your death.
Oh, I don't think so. I think it'd be so
you know what I mean?
easy, especially in the 70s. Why can't I find a picture of this guy now? Kylie, I promise you, I was Googling it earlier and found pictures.
They heard.
Listen. Okay, let me see if I can find a picture. That's all I had. So, what do you think? Are you convinced? Do you think Elvis could be alive?
What do you say your thoughts? Do you have
I don't think he's still alive today. I don't think he's Jesse Guerin in the mental institution. I think it's very suspicious. And if he was alive, that would be him. Like, if they could prove that he didn't die on 1977, he faked his death, I would say, if I didn't want him speaking on the government, or if I was the mafia and really wanted, you know, whatever, I'd stick him in a mental institution too.
Yeah.
Kind of adds up.
Yeah.
I would say if he's anybody, he's that guy. I don't think he's Bob Joyce, but the similarities were interesting. I 1000% believe that he did not die on his toilet in Graceland in 1977. Something fishy happened.
What fishy kind of thing do you feel like happened? Like, he did fake his own death, or like it wasn't, he didn't die that way?
I think he faked his own death.
Okay.
100%. He did not die on August 16th, 1977. I fully believe it.
You think something happened?
I do.
I think that if he faked his own death, it wouldn't be either of those people. Because to me, I'm just like,
yeah,
you wouldn't go by that name.
If some TikToker can
break it down, yeah. Is that it?
Yes, I'm trying to find a picture of this guy, and it's a little suspicious that I can't.
Huh. He doesn't really look like him, though.
Let me go to TikTok. Okay, here. He looks a little creepy, but he's a little scary looking. I don't know, man.
I almost feel like that is more likely to be Elvis than the last guy that actually kind of looks like him. Because I'm like, Elvis isn't walking around looking like Elvis.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Like, Elvis was good looking when he was young, but at 42, he was severely overweight, bloated. Like, he was not that good looking, so I feel like he wouldn't have aged well. Because I think the drugs that he did do when he was young were catching up to him.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
Kind of interesting. Oh, here's like a side-by-side.
Yeah, he looks more like that guy for sure.
I feel like that if they're going to stick him somewhere, it's going to be in a mental institution.
He looks less like that guy, but more, like, in a more convincing way.
Yeah.
Okay, should I jump into mine?
Yeah. I don't think I know what yours... Oh, I know what some of yours are.
Oh, I had 4 on my list, and I decided to not do the top one, so I'm skipping that one.
What was the top one?
9/11. I'm deciding to not do that one. Okay, so my first one is the Denver International Airport.
This one, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, you've never heard of this?
Never heard of this.
Okay, I wish that we would have done this episode before we even were friends 3 years ago or something, because I knew a lot more about this conspiracy theory like years ago. I was kind of the ones that 2 of the 3 that I chose I was not into, but like I remember like watching videos on it and like being much more interested in it than I am now. Okay. I don't have nearly as many thoughts as Melissa did on that last one, so I apologize.
I went in on that one. My other ones are like half that.
Okay, good. Not good because I don't want to hear you, but good because I didn't go that far in with any of mine, and my thoughts are not nearly as organized either. So, the Denver International Airport, there's tons of conspiracy theories about it. I'm going to briefly break down the thing that what I think is the fishiest part of it, which is the whole build of this airport. I have bullet points that I'm just going to go through and I'll talk on each of them. I feel like years ago when I was into this conspiracy theory, I was never into it, but
We're not conspiracy theorists.
No, when I very first heard of this and I was really perplexed by it, I feel like I heard a ton of stuff about the Denver airport being built, like halfway done, and then them deciding for some reason, like I said, I couldn't find information on this today. Granted, I didn't look that hard because I have a baby, but 3 years ago, I remember like seeing this a lot, so I don't know. Don't quote me on any of this, but
allegedly,
I remember years ago learning that this airport, the Denver International Airport, was like half built, and then they somehow decided that that wasn't what they were going to do, or like it wasn't good enough or something like that. And normally if that happened, you would knock it down, demolish it, start over, whatever, you know?
Okay.
They buried the airport.
What?
And then built on top what is now the Denver International Airport. I feel like that was like information that I saw all the time years ago when I would look into this. Didn't find anything on it today. Could be because I didn't look for that long.
Could be because they're covering something.
Could be because I have the worst memory ever. So I could have made that up. However, regardless, there is tunnels underneath the Denver International Airport. And more so than just like the trains that you can take for the airport. There's like deep tunnels underneath the Denver International Airport. I feel like I remember hearing that it was because they built this thing and then they buried it, which was like
fishy.
Very bizarre. Like, why would you do that? That could be made up. I could have made that up. But either way, there is tunnels underneath this airport. So that's one of my points.
Okay.
The airport took way longer to build and was way more expensive than what they planned, which could just be that's how stuff goes. It takes longer to build stuff and is more expensive. I think it was like much, much, much longer. So I think that's fishy, but whatever. I don't really...
Like outside the realm of
normal error or whatever. Yeah. I don't have that much information on that. The Denver International Airport is in the middle of nowhere. It's like not near the city of Denver. I mean, it's near it, but it's... I couldn't tell you how far away. Yeah, it's like 30 plus minutes away and there's nothing else near it. It's just in the middle of nowhere. Could be because this airport is like, I think the largest like square foot size wise. Could be because that's the only place that they could find land, but also there's a lot of land in between, so that doesn't really make sense. It's odd to me.
Okay.
Very odd to me. There was another airport in Denver, like before DIA, Denver International Airport. There was this other airport, I think it was the Staples Airport, could be wrong, that people say was totally fine. It was kind of small, but like it was just kind of weird that they then went and built this other airport when they did, how they did, all of this.
All this seems like could be a coincidence, could be convenient.
Mm-hmm. I think all of that is very fishy to me, actually. Mostly the thing that is weird to me is all the tunnels underneath the ground.
Yeah, why they just built on top of it.
Mm-hmm. Or I could be getting that wrong, but there is tunnels under there. There's also a whole bunch of weird symbols in the airport, like New World Order type of symbols. There's like Freemasonry symbols, and there's a bunch of artwork. Maybe I should look up a picture.
I'll say the Freemasons. There you're getting into some conspiracy stuff there. That goes deep.
Yes, yeah. And that's, yeah.
If you don't know what the Freemasons are, do a little Google search.
And there's a ton of weird artwork. Hang on. Depicting like war and war.
Like just strange things to be in an airport.
Very strange things to be in an airport. That's like, if you saw this and you were in like a museum or something, you wouldn't probably think anything of it. Like, look at this.
Like, what compelled them?
This is a picture of there's probably like significance to it. I don't know what it is though. It's a picture of like a green like army man holding a massive gun with a sword killing a white dove with like scared people all around him.
That sounds like some serious symbolism.
Isn't that super odd?
Okay, I was thinking that like a painting in a frame on the wall. That's like a mural on the wall. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's a rainbow.
Yeah, and there's a rainbow, which I think people say is like the Illuminati and stuff. Weird. And there's other ones too, like.
Well, it's kind of because I wonder, because a dove and a rainbow, those are like Christian symbols.
Here's another one that's just kind of odd. This isn't nearly as like freaky looking, but people say that these are supposed to be like peace symbols and like for like
it looks
the
like
end
every
of
culture
war.
and every race like together with this weird plant.
Yeah, people say a lot of like weird things that like, oh, it's for peace or it's to signal end of war and world peace and stuff. It's very weird.
Why in Denver, Colorado, though?
And it's very weird. Like, why would you have a picture of like a green army man killing a white dove with a machine gun in his hand in an airport? There's
more symbolism behind that.
There's also
that's weird.
I don't have any notes on this, but there's also like a what's it called when you like dig a hole and you put a time capsule. There's like a time capsule at the airport, which could just be a time capsule or whatever, but it has like the Freemason symbol on it and
anything
stuff.
with Freemasons is fishy.
Interesting.
And
then the last thing that people kind of think is that those underground tunnels are from aliens or for aliens. There's a lot of like stuff about,
and I was gonna ask, what's the like significance of that?
A lot of people say that there's like the reptilian race of aliens living under there or something like that. slash stuff with Area 51, that maybe it's the new Area 51 and there's aliens under there, yada, yada, yada. There's lots of stuff. You could go down a rabbit hole with this conspiracy theory.
I feel like if you stuck with Freemasons, you might find something.
Maybe.
Because that is like a legit part of American history.
Yeah.
That is freaking weird.
Yeah. So yeah, people think all different kinds of stuff. There's also a big blue horse out in the front of the airport with like red eyes.
What? So just like such
just
weird,
really weird
symbolism.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I would love to have like an art major that like
could dissect it or something.
Like what do you think?
Okay. What I think, I put on the bottom of like all of these, like what I think. I think that it's something to do with the government /
always
like the world's elite, which maybe would lead into the Freemasonry thing.
Or like Illuminati.
The Illuminati thing. Some type of like mixture of that. And that the underground tunnels maybe connect to other government buildings.
It's in the middle of nowhere.
Other military bases. Or it's just like an underground bunker. Like if crap hits the fan, like that's where the elite people go. That's what I think.
That I feel like I believe.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. That's what I think. I don't think there's I don't really think
there's aliens like in Area 51?
I don't know. I kind of feel like there is aliens.
I kind of feel like why are we guarding that so heavily?
Tightly, yeah.
Yeah, like the government's obviously hiding something. Everybody knows that, but it's like
a little odd.
Who's going to whistle blow?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Elvis maybe.
Maybe
that's why
he died on his toilet allegedly.
Maybe he's in DIA.
Maybe that's where all this like celebrity witness that just like Tupac, Michael Jackson, they're all just chilling down there together.
Yeah, that's what I am more like apt to believe.
That's more realistic.
A lot of things I don't believe, like we said, like we don't actually really believe these. I believe that there's probably something weird. Like
there has to be.
The whole thing is just like weird to me, and I've always thought that. I don't think that there's reptilian aliens under there. That's hard to believe.
The American government is shady.
Yeah, I don't trust the American government or any government for 1 second. So that feels very likely to me.
Yeah. Especially there's Freemason stuff, symbols.
Which people like will debunk that and be like, oh, well, that's like what the designers of the airport were like calling themselves or like something like that. Yeah. And it's just like,
We just happened to draw a like, but no, that's like when people like are doing art or whatever and everyone's like, that looks like a swastika or whatever. They're like, oh, it just happened. No,
that's another thing on the Denver International Airport that I don't think really many people believe, but the, what are they called? The runways. Is in like a fan shape, like a swastika. It looks exactly like a swastika. People say that it's just because they need, don't quote me, that they need really big planes flying in and out of there. So they need to have lots of runways. It's a really popular airport, and having runways that go this way and this way and then this way and this way.
But does it have to look like a swastika?
It is odd, but I think that that's a reach.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that's a reach. If you look at a picture, it's like, it does look like a swastika, but 2 of the arms of the swastika would have like doubles that it's like. Oh, so it's not does, like but it's not, it's not perfectly. Yeah. It definitely looks like one, but I think it's more, I think people are reaching with that one.
I think that we could do a whole episode on like government conspiracy theories between Freemasons, Area 51, celebrities.
Yeah.
How they're all.
Maybe we'll have
double horned up.
Yeah.
That'd be a whole nother thing.
Your turn.
Okay. This one's not that deep. And I would just like to preface, it's about Khloe Kardashian. I am a Kardashian fan. Love them. It's not like I'm obsessed with them or anything.
Yeah.
But I will watch the show. I will enjoy the show.
Same.
If they get pregnant, I care. If they get married, I care. Like, I care about what they do.
They're
but
just
like
iconic.
They're
it's
iconic.
Like, you love them or hate them. Like,
yeah, I just love them. Like, they're so interesting. Whatever. No shade. Not about to get a defamation case. But this is a conspiracy theory that I wholeheartedly believe. O.J. Simpson is Khloe Kardashian's dad. And you cannot convince me otherwise.
Okay. You're going to have to really quickly break the whole O.J. Simpson case trial down with her dad. Who did what? Who was who? Like very briefly, because it's not even part of it. But
you just don't know.
I know, but I've never really fully gotten into
Robert
that.
Kardashian and Kris Kardashian at the time were married, and Kris's best friend was Nicole Simpson Brown, and she was married to O.J. Simpson. Okay, which is how Robert and O.J. became friends. Okay, so they were like a little group, double date, whatever. They hung out all the time. They went on vacation. There's millions of pictures together. Obviously, Nicole and Kris were best friends. Okay, well, Nicole and O.J. have 2 kids together. Justin and Sydney. I think Sydney's the oldest. And they get divorced. Messy divorce. She starts dating Ron something. It's like her hairstylist. Someone that was in their lives, Yeah. Starts dating him. OJ's known. He's an NFL superstar. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's a crazy good player. They called him the Juice. Known for having crazy rage issues. Okay. So I think we can all pretty much agree that he killed her. Let's be real.
The ex-wife.
Yes. There's so much blood evidence. Robert Kardashian did an interview after the trial that said he doubted that OJ was innocent and that the biggest thorn in his side, quote, the biggest thorn in his side was blood evidence. It was in his truck. It was on the bottom of his boots.
Which is pretty good evidence.
Yeah, the bottom of his boots. There was footprints of the blood from the bottom of his boots in the house. And so he was so obviously the killer. The reason that there was such doubt is because, sorry, don't hate us, it kind of turned into a race thing. Okay. And that was a big deal then. Okay. So, and he was a beloved football star.
So people were coming from him and coming for him, and then they were saying oh, you guys are just being racist.
Robert Kardashian took that spin and was tried to make it a race thing.
Okay, and so was Rob Kardashian the lawyer?
Yes, he was a lawyer. Okay. And
he was OJ's lawyer.
This is what made him Robert Kardashian.
Right.
Nobody knew the Kardashian name before this trial. This is what made his career. And don't quote me, I think he got him off, and then it went to trial again, and he ended up going to prison for life. Because he died in... I don't know for life.
So did he get convicted for it?
Yes, he was convicted for it. Okay. He went to prison. He recently died of cancer.
And so then this doesn't even really matter with your conspiracy. Actually, no, it does. Kris Jenner, Kardashian or whatever, was that why they got divorced? Or no, that had nothing to do with it. Were they fighting because it was her best friend and he was supporting?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Kris
that's messy.
And Robert had a separation because Robert was his lawyer. Whether he believed OJ or not, he was his lawyer. Yeah. And obviously, Kris's best friend just got murdered. She fully believes it was OJ. She feels betrayed. They were friends, whatever. She took the kids and split from Robert. And the kids, have done, Kardashians have done interviews saying that, they didn't see their dad very much through the trial. Their mom kept them out of it, everything. And so they had a separation. And they had already had infidelity. Because the reason that they ended up getting a divorce was Kris had a full-on affair with Todd Waterman. Okay. And ended up leaving Robert Kardashian for Todd Waterman. Okay. Spoiler alert, he played her and it didn't work out. And then she met Bruce. Or Caitlyn, whatever you want to call her. And so before the Todd Waterman full-on affair, she had a fling. And in her as she says, memoir. In her memoir, she wrote that she had a fling with someone around the time that she got pregnant with Khloe.
Okay. And so you think the fling is OJ?
I think the fling was OJ.
But why would she want to be with OJ if she thinks that he killed her?
It was before. So Khloe was 4 or 5 when the whole OJ thing happened. Between 3 and 5.
Gotcha. So
she was a couple years old.
Okay, so
Robert was because Robert's the youngest, or Rob.
Not the dad.
Not the dad. Robert's the dad. Rob is the son. Yeah. He was a couple years old when the whole OJ thing happened.
Okay. So the theory is that she had a
affair
or a fling or whatever you want to call it.
Had Khloe.
And no one knew about it.
And
then later it came out that she did have a fling.
She wrote this memoir and it was she said that she had a fling.
With
around
OJ.
The time. No, not with OJ. Just around the time that she got pregnant with Khloe. However, every time that she's had a fling or cheated or whatever, she named names. Like, Kris is a name dropper. She's a known name dropper because even, as she says, even bad press is good press. Like, she has always name dropped. Won't name drop who she had a fling with before she got pregnant with Khloe.
And it was even just a fling. It wasn't
and she even
like
said
an affair.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, but, you know.
Like a couple times, probably.
Not as big
She
of a
even
thing.
said that when Khloe was born, her and Robert were on, like, rocky ground. Their marriage wasn't good. And then their marriage got better when they got pregnant with Rob. And then they split, like, when Rob was, like, I think she met Bruce when Rob was, like, 3 or 4.
Okay.
So, Kris admitted that, whatever. Khloe has the most amount of plastic surgery on her face out of all the Kardashian Jenner
She
girls.
definitely doesn't look like...
She looks completely different. Just for
Which
reference.
is sad because she gets hate for that and whatever.
Yeah.
But.
2008 versus 2023 Khloe.
Yeah, it is crazy.
And, like, she looks like a totally different person. That's, like, 2024.
Yeah.
Totally different person, right?
Yeah.
Not just because she lost weight. She's had a lot of... She'll say she has a lot of plastic
surgery.
surgery.
Well, yeah, that's not, like, a question.
They're known for having plastic surgery. The other thing is that this is, like, not my opinion.
Do you think she knows?
Oh, yeah.
Khloe?
I have an interview. Okay, there's, like, I don't know how like extensively you've watched the Kardashians. At least 6 times in the entire series, she has said that she does not believe that Robert Kardashian is her dad, that she has a different dad.
Yeah.
And they even, in the first couple seasons,
they did, like, a DNA test. And she wouldn't do it,
She wouldn't go through with it. Because she said, and at the end of the day, at the end of the episode, she goes, at the end of the day, I had 2 dads, Robert Kardashian and Bruce Jenner. And that's good enough for me. I don't need to, like, whatever.
Yeah.
She's always doubted it.
Yeah.
And so, basically... This is not my personal opinion. This is just one of the main things that I've seen of people dissecting this, is that her facial features are much more characteristic of an African-American female or a mixed female. More than they are of a white or Armenian female, which is what all the Kard Jenners are, is Armenian. She looks exactly like O.J. Simpson's daughter, Sydney Simpson.
Do you have a side-by-side?
Before her plastic surgery. You're going to die.
Yeah.
They're twins.
Yeah.
They look so much alike. Oh my gosh. I don't know how my phone works. Okay, well, whatever. I did something. I don't know. But
yeah, they do look much
they
more
look
similar.
So much. Oh, just wait. It gets better.
And obviously, Kris. Who is that other girl?
Sydney Simpson. Khloe Kardashian, Sydney Simpson.
She looks... That is
a
not bad picture of her.
Yeah. But
yeah,
they look so much alike.
Yeah, they do.
Isn't that freaky? One. Like, their body type. She's a completely different body type than these are my other points. Completely different body type than the Kardashian and the Jenners, which it's very, 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 very clear.
Which she's going to look a little bit like them no matter what, because Kris is her mom.
Right.
So it's not like, it's not like she looks nothing like them. It's just,
Rob looks just like his dad, Robert Kardashian. Spitting image. All the other girls, even the ones that she had with Bruce, look just like her. Yeah. They all take after her. They all look exactly like each other and exactly like her. Khloe's the only one that looks nothing like any of them.
Do you have a picture of her next to OJ?
Yes. So, before I get to that, my next point is that her daughter, True Thompson, and, if it was true, Khloe's brother, Justin Simpson, OJ's son, look identical.
OJ's son and Khloe's daughter.
Yes, there's True.
Okay.
And here's Justin.
Yeah, they do look really
Isn't
similar.
That wild?
Yeah.
So there's that. This is Khloe, since you asked. This is Khloe and OJ side by side. But, like, this is even with plastic surgery. She still looks a lot like him.
Yeah, she actually does look
She looks like a white version of him. Her jaw, how wide her face is, how long it is, her nose, her lips, her eyes. She looks just like him.
Yeah, she does. That's all.
Yeah.
Do we have a side-by-side of her and
the other girls?
Robert? No, Robert Kardashian.
Oh, no. I looked up some, and it's like...
Not very good ones.
You can kind of see it, but... The other thing is that her height. Height is extremely genetic. She is the same height as Kendall. They're both 5'10". All the other Kardashian girls are under 5'5".
Yeah.
Even Robert is under 5'5". Like, she towers over all of them.
Yeah.
And so it's clear that Kendall and Kylie got their height from Bruce, because Bruce is pretty tall. Or Caitlyn, whatever. I'm talking about Bruce because at the time
it was Bruce. Yeah.
That's when it was relevant. Yeah. So where did she get her height from? Because Robert Sr. is short, and so is Chris. They're all like a 5'5". So kind of convenient. Also, Khloe has said several times, especially during quarantine, posted a lot of selfies, that her natural hair is curly, like ringlets. All the Kardashian and Jenner girls have always complained about having stick straight hair.
Yeah.
This is a picture of Khloe, Kourtney, and Kim as kids. One of these things doesn't look like the other. Yeah. There's no way they're related.
Well, they are related.
Well, sorry, yeah. There's no way they have the same dad.
They're full related.
Because even if, like, the joke was, oh, she looks like Robert Sr.'s mom. She had fairer features. I'm sorry. She's the only one out of, 6 kids that looks like that? You're yanking my chain. So this is an interview that she did, and this is probably the 5th or 6th time that she said something like this. This was from last year.
Real dad, or I must have a different dad because I don't look as... So wait, when in our 23andMe's, you're like more Armenian than we are? Which is like... She had more of a percentage of Middle Eastern Armenian descent than they did. That's not the point here. By people saying, questioning always, I can't be their equal sibling. It's because of appearance. It's not because of facts. Genetics. Right. And so that's the part that's always... stung, but
so it's like she's saying I don't look like them, and that is like fishy or whatever. Also, they said that in their 23andMe, she had more of a Middle Eastern descent, and then Kim said like Armenian. Okay, well, Middle Eastern isn't the only Armenian isn't the only Middle Eastern. Yeah, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a lot of like African American, like kind of Middle Eastern mixed descent.
Is there?
I thought so. As far as I know, I could be totally wrong.
Yeah. But
why would she be more than all the rest of them? Like significantly more. So even if her dad isn't OJ, it's not Robert. Like it just, and like she will straight up say like I have doubts. Like she just said, like I don't know. Like I feel like I don't know my dad. Whatever she said. Like. I just feel like it's a little...
So you wholeheartedly believe that one?
I wholeheartedly believe she does not have the same dad. I don't know whether it's actually OJ or not, but just the fact that says, I've always questioned who my real dad is.
Yeah.
Like that was like the quote at the beginning of the video. I've always questioned who my real dad is.
Yeah.
Even if it's not OJ.
So you think that she knows though?
I don't think that she knows. I think that they like... kind of gaslight her into being like, obviously you're our sister or whatever.
Sure.
But
like
I think that deep down
suspicion or whatever.
Yeah. Which I'm sorry. She looks nothing like any of them. Their face structure, their bone structure, their body type. She looks nothing like any of them.
Yeah.
Like I would think that too. I'd be like, am I adopted?
Yeah.
So anyway, I really kind of believe that one, but.
And she's not the youngest, right?
No.
Because I have a theory. Not a conspiracy theory, just a theory. It seems to me... Oh, yeah, she's the middle. She's not the oldest. Sorry.
In my mind, Kourtney, Kim, Khloe, Rob.
Yeah, okay. I have a theory that the oldest child is often the lightest child. And then it goes down.
Of, like, features?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which isn't true at all. I just feel like I have lots of, like, close friends that I'm like, it seems like light, medium, and dark sisters or brothers or whatever, and it's like the oldest usually has the lightest features and then goes darker, or the opposite. But it seems to me like it always goes like in order of descending or ascending or whatever.
I could kind of see that, but to have a dark hair, dark skin, brown eyes, black hair, dark skin, Armenian, white skin, green eyes, blonde curly hair, another Armenian kid, and it's a boy.
Yeah.
It's like,
just with my personal experience,
yeah,
like,
no, that makes sense.
That's not any kind of a real theory, but I just feel like I've seen that
common.
before. I could tell you people later. Yeah. That just seems like that's
name drop later.
Yeah. Is that it?
Yeah. I feel like that's one that, like, everyone's kind of like, well, yeah, duh, everyone thinks that.
Yeah.
But I'm
you really are convinced.
Yeah. Because a lot of people do, like, a side-by-side, too, between Kris Jenner's hairstylist at the time. And they look kind of alike, but not really. But I think
not
that one's a little far-fetched. Yeah. I feel like OJ, there's just so much coincidence. And why would she not name drop? Maybe because he's a convicted murderer, and that'd be saying that you slept with a convicted murderer
who's also
had a baby.
And also your best friends.
And also killed your best friend.
Yeah.
That'd be a little fishy.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always heard that kind of thing, and I've always been like, oh, yeah, but I haven't ever
that
really,
would open a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah. Okay. My next one is the Egyptian pyramids.
Okay.
Which I've heard stuff about, but I've never, like, the airport one and my next one, like I said, like, I used to be more interested in those. I've never really been that into this one. But it is very interesting to me.
I think there's a lot about that.
And yeah, and that I don't know what I believe, because
I was excited to see where you were going to go with this when I saw it on your list.
I don't know what I believe with any of it, because none of it really makes sense to me. So I'm going to just kind of go through it like I did with the other one. I just have a bunch of bullet points. I don't have a nice little, like, storyline like you
with
did.
My sources cited.
Okay. Don't quote me on any of this, but really with the Egyptian pyramids, because I'm
on absolutely anything.
Any of this, but especially this one don't, because this is really short research. All of these were, but I don't even have any, like, background knowledge on this one. So, people say that the Egyptian pyramids were built in 2500 BC. Whatever that means, am I right? Like, I don't know what that means. A long time ago.
Yeah.
Is the point. A long time ago.
Biblical times.
No one knows. The point is that no one knows how these pyramids got there or how they were built, because it was so long ago. And it's like, how did these
so precise
ancient Egyptians build these massive pyramids? I'm talking about the Great Pyramid of Giza. There's 3 pyramids, but the main
wasn't that the big one of the old 7 wonders of the world or whatever?
Probably. I don't know. I did 4 minutes of research on this. No one understands how they were built or how they got there. They're made up of millions of rocks that are hundreds of miles away, and I didn't write down how much they weighed.
Tons. How they were moved.
I saw something that said that if Egyptians... Sorry, did I already say that they were moved from hundreds of miles away? I think 500 miles away. They're from these rocks are from a quarry. 500 miles away. Someone said that if you were to move them on a wood sled, like, they would have had to move them back then.
Where you, like, pull it out and pull it up to the front and you keep sliding it, like, rolling, basically.
Yeah, it would have taken... Do not quote me on this. I didn't write this down. It would have taken, like... I can't even... Never mind. I'm not even going to try and quote the metric.
Time.
A long... Like...
Unrealistic.
A long time. Like, hundreds of men, like, a long... Like, I think maybe it even said, like, it would take hundreds of men, like, 500 years to move one rock. And that's probably not right, but, like...
But you get the idea.
There's no way that they could have moved these rocks, basically. There was also... I don't have anything written down on this, but there was some stuff on, like, how did they even get these rocks out of the quarry, because they're, like, cut, and, like, how, like, the tools that they had back then wouldn't have allowed them to cut these rocks. I don't have anything written down on that, though. Here's some weird things about these 3 pyramids, or maybe there's 4, maybe there's 3, I don't know. The sides of the pyramids align perfectly with northeast, south, and west, which I don't know if they knew northeast, south, and west back then. I would think that they did, but probably not.
Had some kind of astrology,
not enough to, like,
knowledge.
Build them in this way. These massive structures that, if they built them, would have taken them hundreds of years to build them. Like, they wouldn't have been able to do it that precise. That's another thing, is that these are perfectly built pyramids. How, even if they got the rocks there, how did they build these so precisely? If you were off half inch here, it wouldn't have like worked. You know what I mean?
I've seen something that like people have researched the pyramids and said that with the technology that we have now, we couldn't do it. Yeah, that was
as
precisely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like bizarre. And also, like, how would they have gotten them to the top of the pyramid? Like, none of it. Even if they could get it on flat ground from 500 miles away, how would you have then gotten it on top of this massive
how many Bible
pyramid?
story, like, movies have, like, depicted the Jews, you know, when they were slaves to the Egyptians, building these pyramids? They're kind of iffy on the how, though. Yeah. I think those scenes kind of get cut out.
Right. Some other weird things about it is that the coordinates of these pyramids match exactly with the speed of light, which I don't think that they would have known. No, there was no light back then. No, I guess there was light. There wasn't light bulbs.
There wasn't like artificial light.
Yeah, they wouldn't have known that. And even if they did know that, how would they have known?
That's not a coincidence.
How would they have known where to put them there, and what would even be the point of
like their subconnection
putting them there? They're recently, I'm saying recently loosely because I don't know if recently they mean like within the last month or recently within the last 20 years. I don't know. But someone, I didn't write this down either, but there's underground, like, not underground, but in the pyramids, there's not tunnels. What's the word? It's not tunnels, but there's like
tombs.
I mean, that's what they were used for, is that they were tombs for the
pharaohs.
Not tombs, like, I should look it up, but whatever, like tunnels. And everyone's been like, what are those for?
Catacombs? Or no, that's in Paris.
Someone made like a 3D model of this, and they were like trying to figure out what these tunnels, or not tunnels, but whatever these were used for. And he like filled it with water and like was figuring out the energy, and that there was a bunch of like room for energy to be made in the pyramid. I didn't write that down because I couldn't even
comprehend
fully grasp it, and I didn't have time to fully grasp it. But there is like some weird stuff with that
moral of the story goes a lot deeper.
And I think that that's where the coordinates being the exact speed of light, like, I think that those two kind of tie together, the speed of light, and then like maybe that they could create energy somehow in these pyramids. The last really weird fact is that it aligns perfectly with Orion's belt, the star, what do you call those?
Constellations?
The constellations.
We're so smart.
It aligns perfectly with Orion's belt, which, same thing, they just wouldn't, how would they have known?
Which I'm sure they had like astrology knowledge, but like,
it's like one thing to have the knowledge of like, this is northeast, south, and west, or this is Orion's belt or whatever. It's another to build a massive pyramid built over what had to have been hundreds or thousands of years and line that up, and also have it be the exact the coordinates match exactly the speed of light, and also have it, you know what I mean,
even discovered,
right, like all of these things.
Like, it's like the Mayan calendar, they like, that's like, they used the stars and the sun and everything to like not tell time, but like kind of, and like the seasons and all that.
Not that accurate,
seems a little though. Caveman compared to the perfection of the pyramids.
Here's the theories.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's lots of theories. I have two major theories. Aliens helping.
I've heard that.
Which I don't really think that, but also, how did these pyramids get there? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't believe that, but also like,
what other explanation?
Like, you can tell me the truth, and that makes less sense than aliens doing it, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Or the theory that I more so believe but don't really understand is that somehow the Egyptians were way more advanced than what we think they were, or that we are now.
And how did that knowledge just die, though?
Like with an ice age or something.
That makes sense.
That's what the theory is. I don't know. There's probably lots of theories of how that knowledge just died.
The whole Egyptian, like, people, just Egyptian people and the Egyptian, like, the ages, the pharaohs. That's all very, very, very interesting, but it's all very fishy because it does, like, point to that they had, like, different technology or more advanced technology or these, like, beliefs that are just, like, where does that come from? Like, they're very like intricate type of people.
Yeah. After, like, doing all, like, my little bit of research on all these conspiracy theories, I'm like, wow, I need to watch, like, a documentary, like, going over, especially the Egyptian one, because that's the one that mostly I'm like, what people are saying fully does not make sense. Like, the Egyptians did not just build these pyramids.
It's extremely complex.
Like, they did not just build these pyramids.
On Disney Plus, they have National Geographic, like,
with pyramids?
I don't think it's docuseries. I don't think that's the right name for it. But yeah, like, they have, like, the Mayan pyramids, the Egyptian pyramids. Mm-hmm. And I always tell Jake, I go, I would love to watch something like that. And he thinks I'm such a loser. I'm like,
oh, really?
No, like Egyptians are so fascinating to me.
I should do some more research because of the theories. That's the one where I'm like, I don't know what I believe, but I definitely believe that they were not just built the way that we think they were built.
You want to know a theory that I've heard?
What?
So we can obviously agree that Jews built the pyramids when they were slaves to the Egyptians.
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
That's what, I want to say allegedly, but that's what the Bible said. I don't know if they're the pyramids that we're specifically talking about, but obviously in the Bible, Jews built the pyramids for the Egyptians.
Okay.
Some of them, whatever. I wonder, I've heard some, like, Christian conspiracy theories of, like, well, those are God's chosen people, and, like, he freed them, and, like, there's more to that of, like, were they able, like, this is so not even, like,
biblical
point.
Or anything.
Not biblical at all. Do not come for me. But, like, did that technology get taken from them when God freed his people? Like, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or, like,
something with
God's wrath of, like, getting the Pharaoh to release the people, was that technology destroyed through, like, all the wrath that he ensued on those people? Was that technology destroyed?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Sure.
I've seen that a couple times.
That's interesting.
I wonder if there's any connection.
Well, maybe, yeah. I'm going to have to look into that one more, because that
National
one is
Geographic's
really...
not going to go into anything
you're going to have
biblical.
To find something underground tunneling with that. Yeah. That's interesting, though. I would need to look into that. I'm, like, curious now, because I'm like... There's just no way they were built. No. Just simply.
I think it's more believable, like what you're saying, is that there was an ice age or something happened, the technology was lost.
Yeah.
And it's just not even in the realm of the kind of technology that we have now.
Which is just opens up a whole...
But if you had to start from scratch, why would you, like, redo what you've already did? Like, if you're starting from scratch, the possibilities are endless.
What do you mean?
It's almost like if this is the route the Egyptians were on, and all that got destroyed and they had to start from scratch, it's like, why keep going on the same route when you can go to this one or this one or this one or this one?
Ooh.
Like, all these different possibilities of when you're starting at scratch for inventing, I don't know, how to live, like...
Right.
Because there's...
I don't know,
like,
man.
The Greeks had such good medicine and medical beliefs.
What's that one? Is it one of the wonders of the world or whatever? That is, like, those big pillars. What are those?
Oh,
and they're in a circle.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Are they in, like, Iceland or something? I'm making that up.
I know what you're talking about.
I don't know what they're called, but that's kind of the same thing where it's like,
same
how
vibes.
Did these get here? Why are they in this perfect alignment?
I think there's definitely
with
some, like, technology that's being gatekept or lost in history.
Yeah, something.
Mm-hmm. Brings me back to my previous point a couple episodes ago. The history
doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
You're up.
My last one. And this one is the one that I did go really in on, but Jake kind of made me feel dumb for good reason. And so I reeled it back a little bit. To preface, I do not believe this.
What is... To preface, she texted me today saying she did believe this.
I know I told you that I believe this.
No, she's like, to preface, I fully don't believe this. She texted me yesterday and today. I don't know, Kylie. This is really adding up to me.
I'll have to tell you the other research that I found that I'm not.
The stuff that she's not going to put online.
That I'm not putting online. I was told not to. Okay. Flat Earth. Listen, they thought that, as I'm sitting staring at a globe, They thought the Earth was flat for a very long time.
Okay.
And there are still some people that believe the Earth is flat. And there's hardly any evidence that the Earth is flat. But if you look up like why they thought the Earth was flat originally,
makes sense.
It's like there should be evidence of why they thought it was that way originally. You can't find anything. Like I did like hours on this. Could not find almost anything. And I wasn't looking at why people think it's flat now. I was looking at why they originally thought it was flat before they found out it was round or whatever. And it's almost like
why is there no information? Yeah.
That in itself feels fishy.
They are storing that in the Denver International Airport, that information.
Yeah. So this is the only one that's purely my opinion.
Okay.
I think it is a little fishy that if all planets are round, this is the only one that has like a significant amount of gravity.
Okay.
Well, that's probably not the right way to say it. But like has gravity and is inhabitable.
Uh-huh.
You go to the moon, you go to Mars, there's gravity, but it's so low gravity. It's like you can't just stand there. You know what I mean? And it's not inhabitable. You have to have a spacesuit on, like for whatever the atmospheric pressure, whatever you want to say. Whatever it is. I'm not a scientist. I don't know. That seems a little weird to me. Why is it the only inhabitable planet, but it's shaped just like the other ones? It's like, if you were telling me this is the only inhabitable planet in the,
solar system.
Solar system, thank you.
You got it. Galaxy, universe, pick one.
That this was the only one that was inhabitable and it was flat and all the others were round, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. Because it's different.
I guess.
I know there's so much more with the atmosphere and all that, but that was just my first, dumb thought.
Yeah.
Like, the Earth is flat for dummies,
Sure.
Okay, so this is the map. This is the only thing I could find. This was the map that was made in 1893 of how the Earth could be flat. Because everyone says, oh, you just walk right off of it or whatever. And, yeah, that makes sense. But also, it wouldn't look like that. I feel like if it was flat, it would look like this.
Let me hold it.
Like, if the Earth was flat, I feel like that's what it would look like. That makes more sense. Why you wouldn't just walk off the face of the Earth.
Okay, so I'm going to describe this picture.
We can always add pictures.
Yeah,
too.
I'll have to try and add pictures, but
I have these pictures saved.
In case I don't add a picture,
you can be able to zoom in.
It's like shaped like this. It like goes down and then it kind of comes up and then like this. It's like almost like a bowl.
Yeah, it's like if you
shape.
had like a square slab of wood, and then there's there's a circle drawn in this square slab of wood
with a
that's
cutout
indented. Yeah.
So it's still almost like the top of it looks like the top of a globe, kind of.
Yes.
Kind of. There is roundness.
There's a spherical
to
shape.
It. I'll put it here also.
And maybe you can.
So you wouldn't just walk off the edge. It still doesn't make sense because you could walk into nothingness, correct?
I know.
Except for that there would be water and that there would probably be ice and stuff, so it would be you can't keep walking because it's ice.
Yes.
No one's really not very many people have been
points.
to the North Pole or the South Pole or whatever, and
that's one of
that would be the explanation,
right.
Or whatever. Yeah.
That's one of my next points. And then
I'm just taking it over.
No, you're fine. The person that made that map said, maybe the world is as thick as it is wide and is actually a cube. Scientists scoff at this notion, arguing that gravity would mean the atmosphere would be much thicker at the center of each surface and nearly barren at the poles.
Okay, that makes sense.
But have you noticed how the atmosphere is much more humid at the so-called equator, yet the poles are practically lifeless? Coincidence?
I don't know, you're losing me.
I know. You kind of gotta be a little bit smarter than that.
You kind of gotta be on the surface level and just glaze over the details and kind of get a general picture.
So the other thing is everyone would say, well, there's gotta be a drop off. There is. It's called the Antarctic ice wall. And it's 15% of it sticks up out of the water. And that 15% that sticks up out of the water is 200 feet tall.
Okay.
So let's just say, what's 100% divided by 15%? Or wait, I'm stupid. 100% minus 15%. So 85% of the wall you can't see. right?
Uh-huh.
So if 15% of it is 200 feet, 85 divided by 15 is 5.6 times 200. That means it's 1,133 feet.
How big is like the what's the big building in New York City? The
Empire State Building.
Yeah, how big is the Empire State Building? I don't know how. Yeah, like I don't know how big 1,000 feet is. I've been to the Empire State Building, I know.
The Empire State Building is about the same.
Okay.
It says 1,250 feet. So this ice wall is a little bit taller.
Okay.
So it goes very deep down into the ocean.
But not that much of it is sticking up. 200 feet isn't crazy high.
No, but the fact that it's only 15% of it.
Yeah, okay.
It's 50,000 miles around. And the average temp is... What the heck? Why doesn't it... I don't know the average temp because I cut that part out.
Yeah,
but
well,
it's probably not that
it's
important.
cold.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Okay.
If you were to say that there was an edge of a flat Earth...
That's what you would think
I would say that that's what it would look like. That's what it would be, right? So if you look at the, 360, basically, of this ice wall, that middle picture is what it looks like. It looks like an Earth drop-off to me, if the Earth was flat and not round.
Mm-hmm.
From a top view.
You're saying that ring would be on the outside of the Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that. And this is, so brainy for me, I don't even... But that would be, what the flat Earth would look like.
Mm-hmm.
So it has, and so that's, another picture of that white circle is, the ice wall.
Okay.
So it's okay, I could kind of see where they're going there. If there was going to be an edge of the Earth, I would say that's it.
Yeah.
And then, so there's that. The other thing, before my last point, which kind of leads into your thing.
Are you watching the time?
No, not at all.
Okay.
We're supposed to leave right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll wrap it up.
Okay. I'm we've still got a little bit more to talk about,
So there's this belief that there's a firmament and like in our atmosphere or whatever.
Like a dome?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. So basically, people who believe that the Earth is a globe shape, believe that the firmament, it's talked about in the Bible, the firmament, but that's what I'm not going to get into because obviously I'm not going to sit here and pretend to decipher the Bible.
Yeah.
But people who believe in a round Earth think of the firmament as metaphorical and that it's our atmosphere. Mm-hmm. Whereas people who believe that it's flat think of it as an actual physical barrier. So basically, if this is the Earth and it's a globe, this is our firmament around it, and people think what's outside of that is our atmosphere, so the solar system.
Okay.
People who believe in flat Earth think it's a dome firmament, and on the other side of that firmament is water.
So there would be no outer space?
Kind of.
Or outer space would be water?
Kind of, yes.
Okay.
And that's why people think...
Why are you...
I don't know. I'm just going to hold it.
Okay. Well, yeah,
we're so close. I'm just going to hold it. So that's why some people think back in biblical times that people lived longer because that firmament was thicker and there wasn't as many harmful sun rays. Okay. But that has degraded over time. There wasn't a bunch of rain in biblical time, but because that firmament was so thick and there was water on the other side of it, that the humidity kept plants alive. Because it didn't rain, which, spoiler alert, the Great Flood, all that. There's a lot to go deep into biblical parts of it. I'm not going to do that. But that's one thing that some people believe in, that is the main proof of a flat Earth is the firmament. That's a whole deep thing. My last little point is that if you Google nasa.gov flat Earth, it literally, the first link that pops up says, this report details the development of a linear model of a rigid aircraft of constant mass flying over a flat, non-rotating Earth. NASA said that.
What do you think?
I don't think the Earth is flat, per se. I think that our atmosphere may not be what we think it is. I think that it's worth digging into what it was like in biblical times. If you want to dig into the Bible, maybe that there's something in there. Who knows? I think that there's something there. I don't know. Like, if someone came out and said the Earth is actually flat, I would be like,
okay, yeah.
Okay. Like,
yeah.
I could, there's some decent things. But do I actually think the Earth is flat? No. Because there's about 1,000,000 to 1 things that could debunk flat Earth.
Sure, right.
But it's interesting to see that there are some points that people have made some decent sense of why the Earth could possibly be flat. And they did originally think it was flat. Why did they think it was flat originally?
I feel like they would think it's flat originally because how else would you think it was?
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, that makes more sense to think of it as flat. That's all you can see.
Yeah.
Than a globe. But that is interesting. That map is interesting.
I know, because you think of it as like just
flat. Yeah.
Yeah, but that is like, okay, if there was a flat Earth, that kind of makes some sense.
And it's flat, but it's not actually flat. It's like...
Yeah. That, I think the Antarctic ice wall kind of like put it into a better perspective for me to be able to actually visualize it. Okay, maybe.
Yeah. Interesting.
I digress.
My last one is that the moon landing was faked, which I've gone through like different times of like fully believing this and then fully not. I don't know where I'm at right now with it. Definitely seems fishy to me.
Mm-hmm.
I just have a bunch of bullet points, same thing. You're telling me, you're trying to tell me, I wasn't alive in the 1960s, but you're trying to tell me that they live streamed from the moon landing to everyone's TV
when they had one channel
in
to
the
watch
1960s.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can't send Melissa TikToks in 2024.
Yeah, sometimes you can't even send each other photos without iCloud messing with it, and you have no idea what's going on.
What is the iCloud?
What even is the cloud?
Let's not, Chris. I hear about the iCloud so freaking much. I can't even comprehend the iCloud. Anyways, I don't know how they would have live streamed that. I wasn't alive back then. I don't think anyone listening to this is alive back then. It doesn't really make sense to me.
Also, I remember my dad saying stories of how their show would come on Tuesday nights and they'd all gather around their tiny little TV because they had 3 channels.
So how did they live stream?
And you're telling me you live streamed? Debunked.
I don't know. That just doesn't make sense to me.
Okay.
Okay. Here's just some things that people pick apart on the moon landing being fake. Famous picture of the flag. You can look it up, or maybe I'll put it on the screen. We'll see. But there's a picture of the flag, and it's waving in the wind, or it's at least upright.
Yeah.
And people are like, there's not any way that it's upright. Like, you're on the moon, right? Mm-hmm. For a while, I kept hearing the theory, which I don't know how gravity works in space, but I kept hearing the theory that, like, if you put in a flag, like, in that motion, it would stay. Like, if it was waving when you put it up, like, if you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like that thing that's, like, if you push off of something into space, you're not going to stop until you hit something else.
Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which I don't think that's even true, but I used to have heard that one a lot of, like, if you fling it into space and it's, like, waving when you put it there, that it'll stay in that position. Today, when I was looking into it, I saw a thing that said that it was on, like, a flagpole like this. Here's the flag out this way, right? And that there was a pole here to, like, hold it out.
Okay.
That makes more sense to me.
That makes more sense.
Than the whole, like, that, yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't actually look like it's waving. It really looks like it's, like, on a stake, which makes sense. Maybe I'll try and pull up a picture so I can show you. Okay, yeah.
I kind of feel like, why have we not been back to the moon? Well, okay, we have been back to the moon, allegedly, but why do the pictures not look any different than the 1960s? See, that just looks fake.
It doesn't look right?
It doesn't look real. And also, there's just an edge and then black. Like, it looks photoshopped.
Yeah.
And if you look at other pictures.
But doesn't it look like there's a pole?
Yeah, a little bit.
Which that would
it's
kind
like
of
thread onto like a pole or
yes,
something.
That would kind of debunk, like, that would almost prove that the moon landing was real, because it was like, oh, they sent them up there.
I mean,
and they wanted to get this iconic picture or whatever.
Real,
well, no, but that's a point too.
That point would be debunked.
Okay, that's a point. The way that they walk on the moon in these videos is very odd, and there's a video of someone falling, which same thing. Maybe I'll pull it up if I can quickly enough, and getting up looks very suspicious. It looks like he's on a rope. Like, it looks like he'd be, like, on a movie set and, like, someone pulled him up. You know what I mean?
I feel like that's about as fancy as those photos look as, like, a 1960s movie set when they're starting to use green screens. Oh, I was like, what was that? It scared me.
I'm going to try and see if this is this video really quickly.
And also, if you look at pictures from the 1960s, they're not as good as those pictures. How would a picture on the moon be better than a picture on Earth?
No, it doesn't make sense. Okay, let me see if...
I'm anxious to see if any of you guys have, like, facts that you're like, ooh, like, can answer
screaming
one of our
at
questions.
the camera.
Yeah, you're like, no, that's not right. Or like, oh, because of this or whatever. Like, y'all better comment. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Let us know.
I can't find it really, really quickly, and we don't have time for me to pull it up. It looked like he, like, was on the ground, and he, like, just almost, like, levitated up. Like, there's even, I think they said that there's a sixth of the amount of gravity on the moon. So, yes, it would be easier to, like, get up. And that's why they, like, moon, like, you know, like, they bounce.
How would you be that well
It was almost like
it if you've never been on the moon before?
No.
How would you just know how it works and know how, like, to get up like that?
It doesn't even matter even if you did it. It still just doesn't
look right.
It just does not look right. It looks like someone pulled him up. Very much so.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of stuff of Buzz Aldrin, who is one of the people up there that went up there, saying that was fake, which is very weird. I don't know if he's joking. I don't know if I have my facts wrong. I don't know if he's really, really old now and is not making sense. But there's lots. You can look it up. You can look up interviews of him one after another of people being like, what was the scariest part of going to the moon? And him being like,
nothing.
We didn't go, so I don't really know what to say. Like,
interesting
stuff like that. There's also people that are like, I watched, you know, like, I worked for NASA during that time and I know what happened. So who knows? And then my last point is that we haven't been back since the 70s, I believe. So we've been back since that happened, I think, but not since the 70s, allegedly.
Yeah.
And if you say that, people will say, oh, we've been back. I don't think a human has been on the moon.
Walked on the moon.
That's what I mean when I say been back. I think we've sent, like...
Why wouldn't we be sending a ton? And, like, why wouldn't we try to get... I'm sorry, if America is known for anything, it's known for if they do something once, they're going to do it a million more times better each time. Because they are just like that. Like, we just want to do things better and better and better and better and better.
And I think they've sent, like, rovers up there and whatever. But, like, I don't think that they've had people walking on the moon since the 70s. Here's my theories. If we didn't go at all, my theory / other people's theories would be that there was a race to get to the moon.
Yeah.
And that we just wanted to do
America's
it first.
Always wants to be the best.
So they just manufactured that we went and we actually didn't. That's believable. Or if we did go to the moon, that footage isn't real. That footage, they went to the moon, they came back, they filmed this footage in a studio, and that's why it looks, like, so bizarrely weird.
Yeah, like something, they weren't able to get what they wanted.
Yeah.
From the landing, and so they just manufactured it.
Right. I don't know which I believe. I almost want to say I don't really think that we went to the moon, but also I think a lot of people would probably be able to debunk that for me. Is there any proof that any
other countries have gone to the moon?
I think so. I think there is one other country.
Because do they have any pictures or footage? I wonder if it's identical.
I don't know.
Is it identical, or is it like, oh, it looks the same, or is it completely different?
And when did they go? Yeah, that's interesting. I should look. I should have had that in my thing, but...
I've seen some things that said that, like, the power from the thrusters landing on the surface of the moon should have created an indentation in the surface, and it looks like it just...
Hovered down. And also, if you, like, look up close on the pictures... The, like, pegs that it's, like, sitting on or whatever have no dust on them. Like, it looks like the surface was untouched, and it just kind of, like... There's 100 different, like, evidence things.
Yeah, things that people are just like, it just doesn't sit right with me.
Who knows? I used to have said that I did not believe that we went to the moon. I'm still kind of like that, but also, like, maybe we just faked the footage of it.
Also, NASA is known for being shady.
Yeah. Let's get Elon up there.
Yeah, if Elon says it, I probably believe it.
More than NASA, at least.
Elon said that he believes in flat Earth. Just saying.
Hey. Okay, that's it for that, right?
Yeah.
Do we have time to read the things that we want to read?
17 minutes past what we were supposed to. I only have 4 of them, so...
We're already going late,
over. So. Okay. Most crazy. Okay, I feel like we put question box up on our story. We asked some like
keep your eyes out.
Funny little like girly questions. If you feel like answering, you should, because they're funny. This one was the most crazy girl thing that you've done after a breakup.
I read some of these when they were coming in, but I haven't read. I didn't read all of them, so I'm excited.
One of them was moved to California.
Okay.
I don't know if that's to get away from the guy or after the guy.
Just like either
I
need to get out of here. Like,
you gotta get out of here.
Live my life.
Out of here. Yeah. This girl said, she said names, so I won't name drop, but blank flew to Hawaii and said our grandma was sick, so she could leave on a whim.
I know.
That's the definition of hightailing it out of there.
And I saw that, and I think she told me that story.
I was going to say, the way she worded it made it seem like she knew one of us, and she doesn't know me, because I didn't know what she was talking about, so I figured it was you.
Yeah, I think I've heard that story in person before.
Just another one of those hightailing it out of there.
Yeah.
We get a little crazier at the other two. Put nails in front of all 4 of his tires in the middle of the night. What comes around goes around. Okay, the last one. Change all of my Instagram captions to something mean instead of deleting the post. I think that's so funny.
I love that one.
Go Instagram for being able to edit the caption now.
True.
Listen, we're all a little crazy girl at heart.
I wish we had more people writing in, because I bet there is a ton. I think every girl has probably done something crazy.
Yeah.
A time or 2 or 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I can put that one back up too, because I feel like that's just a never ending.
Yeah, maybe other people write
So, hello, be brave, because we don't name drop, and also it's just for fun. Unless you just did it and the statute of limitations isn't up, then maybe don't out yourself. But
unless yeah, that's funny.
Okay,
let's
it. Wrap it up.
Yeah, what are we doing next week?
No idea.
I thought we were gonna do one of those other 2.
Oh, yeah, we can. We also like sometimes put votes on our Instagram story of like what you want us to do next.
Back up. What are the options?
Maybe we'll do a mom talk, because we've had a lot of
requests. We're probably almost due for a mom talk also.
Yeah. Also, a lot of you guys, not that this is like a mom podcast, but a lot of you guys really like the mom content.
Well, I think this isn't a mom podcast, but also like all the
what else do we have going on in our lives?
And also, like, all of the people that are following us are people that we know or know of us, or like,
or our moms,
whatever. It's not like we have people on the other side of the
other side of the world. Like,
listening.
We're not reaching Australia yet, you know?
It's just our people that are listening.
Yeah.
And a lot of our people are in the same exact
situation
as us, that are also young moms.
Which I like mom content because it's pretty fresh.
Yeah, it's fun to talk about. It's really fresh. We can go back and forth on it.
Yeah. We've had one gal request like a couple different like mom topics. So I feel like we should throw her a bone and do one of her topics.
I want to get ahead on an episode again, so maybe we'll have to do like what we did last time. Yeah, and even if we don't post them together, but we can like it's easy to record them together like that and just like fire them off once we get going. Yeah.
Okay,
let's wrap it up. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Bye.